Hello there! In this video, we'll be reacting to What If Anakin Skywalker, Obi Wan Kenobi, and Ahsoka Tano time travel to the Empire era in Star Wars. This Star Wars What If is made by the Star Wars Galaxy. So if you enjoy this video, make sure to subscribe to him and check out his original video. Links in the description. Subscribe to me as well. We're trying to reach 1,000 subscribers within 2024. And without further ado, let's get into it.
What if Anakin, Obi Wan, and Ahsoka were stuck on Mortis until after the Clone Wars ended? That's our story for today. I hope you guys enjoy this.
It's so interesting.
Fun to mess with some time travel stuff, so yeah, let's get right into it. Our story begins on Mortis as Anakin Skywalker, Obi-Wan Kenobi, and Ahsoka Tano are preparing to leave this mysterious planet. This place is between all space and time, and only those allowed by the Mortis gods are allowed to ever visit this place. But a few simple mistakes made by the gods can completely alter timelines, even if they attempt to fix it. What no one yet knows is that when Anakin Skywalker was shown visions of himself becoming Vader, the Force responded, the galaxy shifted, space and time moved around, so when the three Jedi leave this planet, it will no longer be the same moment in time that they disappeared in. No, instead, years have passed by without them, and they will have to adjust to it all. In the main galaxy, as the three Jedi spent a couple of days on Mortis, events in time played out for years. And to recap how it all went down, after the mysterious disappearance of Skywalker, Kenobi, and Padawan Tano, the Jedi Order and Republic searched for weeks on end with no luck whatsoever. And so the Jedi were determined to have been killed in space or in battle in a possible explosion, leaving no trace behind. It was terribly unfortunate, but the war had to go on. Palpatine would adjust, scouring the Jedi Order for his next apprentice to replace Dooku, while
Bro, who the hell is gonna find though? Like, who is he going to find to replace Anakin? I don't know.
Continuing to manipulate the war in his favor. For another year, the Clone Wars would go on, and Palpatine would slowly turn one council member to the dark side by having their home world continuously raided, their friends and family captured and killed. Palpatine found a vulnerable Jedi, and he used this darkness to slowly turn them, until one day in the final moments of the war, Windu was battling Palpatine, and he was winning until this specific Jedi came to Palpatine's side, killing Windu, proclaiming himself to the dark side.
No, please don't be Kid Fisto, man.
So long as his home world is kept safe. The Empire would reign strong for a couple years with Emperor Palpatine, his budding Inquisitorius, and a new apprentice by his side. The Jedi were gone, and it seemed as if all hope was lost.
Where's Yoda?
And one day, the three Jedi, Anakin, Obi-Wan, and Ahsoka, would leave Mortis determined to return to the war and help the Republic win. But as
they're gonna be like, what the hell is happening over here? Like, bro, it's gonna be so weird for them.
The three Jedi left space, waking up and almost immediately realizing something has dramatically changed. The Force felt dark, almost completely devoid of light. They thought it has only been a few days at most. What could have possibly changed in this time? All of them agreed that perhaps the Sith revealed themselves while they were gone. So Obi-Wan patched into the Jedi Council comm signals and received nothing back except static. This was strange, but every single Jedi frequency they tried returned nothing except for static. The same even went for Padme's comms, which gave Anakin a great deal of fear. Luckily, Anakin had access to the Chancellor's secure frequency, so
ain't no fucking way, bro. He's gonna call the Chancellor and Palpatine's gonna answer. He's gonna be like, "What the hell, Anakin?" That's not gonna be bad. That's not gonna be good for them, because then Palpatine's gonna know that they're alive.
He patched in and tried to contact his good friend Palpatine, and finally, this worked. But the returning voice was not the kind, loving voice of Palpatine that Anakin knew. Instead, it was a gravelly, evil voice that asked simply who was contacting him. The Jedi looked to each other, ending this call without saying a word. Something was terribly wrong here. That was not Palpatine, at least not the one they knew. They decided to just jump to hyperspace, but their ship still needed a few repairs to the hyperdrive. The three of them took turns repairing it, while also meditating, searching for answers in this dark galaxy. On Coruscant, after being mysteriously contacted, Darth Sidious had a strange feeling about all of this. This contact came from a Jedi ship, and so he called to his new apprentice, along with the Grand Inquisitor, telling them to track this ship down. The apprentice and the Inquisitor said it will be done, then prepared a Star Destroyer full of stormtroopers before taking off into hyperspace.
Not good.
Sidious closed his eyes, wondering who this could be, wondering if it could be the Chosen One. Aboard the Jedi ship in the middle of nowhere, Anakin put the finishing touches on the ship, and they all wondered where to go from here.
Alright.
Coruscant seemed like the best place to start. Go to the Jedi Temple, ask the Jedi what is going on. But before they could jump, an Imperial Star Destroyer emerged from hyperspace
Oh shit, they're fucked. And they're also going to be confused like what ship it is, because obviously it's a new and improved technology from the Venator, so...
in front of them. They were contacted and told to board the destroyer or they will be destroyed. The Jedi were out of options, so they flew the ship into the hangar. The first thing the Jedi saw was the 2 lines of stormtroopers lined up through the entire hangar.
Oh no.
A lot of them Imperial commandos. It was immediately noticeable how different these troops were from clones, and how this was not a Republic Venator. Anakin, Obi Wan, and Ahsoka quickly came to realize they may not be in the same place and time that they once were.
Yep.
They descended the ramp and soon came face to face with a masked Sith next to the Grand Inquisitor.
Oh shit.
They wondered if this was the legendary Darth Sidious they knew so little about. The Sith spoke on a comm to Palpatine, telling the Emperor that it is them. It's the missing trio of Jedi. So Palpatine became angry, telling them to kill the Jedi immediately. As Anakin tried to ask what was going on, a red blade was ignited and thrown at them. It spun through the air, barely missing all 3 of the Jedi, as they now dove into action, igniting their lightsabers, saying they don't want to fight. But it didn't matter. A rocket launcher was fired directly into their ship, and now things were looking terribly bleak. Blasters from the stormtroopers were firing at them as the 3 Jedi got back to back, and as the Sith and Inquisitor closed in, Anakin and Obi-Wan cut a hole in the hangar floor, falling down into the ship's underbelly. Their ship was destroyed. They had to find a new way out of here. They began running as the 2 red-bladed warriors chased the 3 of them. The Jedi could stay and fight, but their top priority was now to escape and figure out what was going on. None of this made any sense. They ran through the ship, fighting off squads of troopers, until eventually coming upon an emergency hangar with a few ships ready to leave. The blast doors were shut on them, and Ahsoka plunged her 2 lightsabers deep into the doors, trying to melt her way through them, while Anakin and Obi-Wan turned to face the warriors chasing them down. They didn't even speak, they just ran in at Anakin and Obi-Wan, fighting them head-on. Obi-Wan fought the Grand Inquisitor, while Anakin fought the mysterious Sith. The 2 duels were happening, and Anakin was recognizing this fighting style. Ahsoka was pushing harder. She was finally able to break down an opening for the Jedi to get through. She yelled at Anakin and Obi-Wan to follow her. Obi-Wan kicked the Inquisitor, while Anakin was able to spin his saber, cutting through the mask of the Sith, revealing green skin, tentacles spilling out of the helmet.
Oh no.
Kit Fisto glared at Anakin with yellow Sith eyes.
Oh no.
The Jedi couldn't believe it.
Oh, that's sad.
They began running away together,
really
getting ahead of
sad.
Ahsoka as she stumbled a bit because Fisto threw his saber into the ceiling, causing a huge beam to break down as he slammed it into the ground. Ahsoka went flying, separated from Anakin and Obi-Wan, and Anakin frantically was looking for her as 100 or so troopers ran in, firing at them at once.
No.
Obi-Wan told Anakin they must leave now. They will get Ahsoka back once they learn what is going on. And Anakin saw now that Fisto was holding Ahsoka, red blade to her throat, and she yelled at him to leave. Anakin saw the rocket launcher troops run in, and he turned, boarding an Imperial transport with Obi-Wan, swearing to find Ahsoka. And together they flew out of the hangar, flipping around to avoid the missiles, getting to hyperspace, jumping to Naboo instead of Coruscant. They decided Coruscant would not be welcoming to them. Anakin and Obi-Wan spent the hyperspace trip in complete shock at what they just saw. It was clear now that Mortis messed with their timeline. Kit Fisto turned to the dark side, clone troopers replaced by regular troopers, their Venator replaced by some Star Destroyer. Anakin swore he heard some of them say that this was for the Empire. But all he could think about was Ahsoka and Padme. He knew he didn't have a choice to leave her, but he had to leave or they would all die. Now he had to find Padme. His head was spinning. They would keep Ahsoka alive in order to draw them back in, Obi-Wan promised. They would get her back once they learn what is going on. And soon, they emerged from hyperspace above Naboo. They would land this stolen Imperial transport in the fields where Anakin and Padme once laid in before the war. And Anakin still wondered if Padme was even alive. He knew she would never stand for an empire, and that is why they were here. He and Obi-Wan would walk through the streets of Naboo, hoods up, and everything was so different. A black and white flag flew everywhere. Stormtroopers walked the streets. Hollow images would have Imperial propaganda, asking people to join the military. along with one proclaiming support for Emperor Palpatine. Anakin couldn't believe it. Palpatine had all the power in the galaxy.
Oh, man.
Soon the two of them would come upon Padme's old home, and Anakin nearly fell to his knees. It was gone, completely burned down, and in its place stood the Imperial flag.
Ain't no way.
As Obi-Wan assured Anakin that Padme was probably fine, a group of stormtroopers noticed Anakin's lightsaber, telling him to surrender or die. Anakin closed his fist, angry, flipping backwards and igniting his lightsaber, quickly cutting through this group of 8 troopers. Unfortunately, another couple squads noticed this, calling for reinforcements. Anakin and Obi-Wan saw 2 prototype AT-ATs stand up, along with 6 prototype AT-STs, and the Jedi took off, running through the streets and eventually into the Naboo forests. Obi-Wan told Anakin to get to the water. There's a Gungan community there, but before Obi-Wan could finish, the two of them were pulled down into the ground. As they rolled away into this secret hideout, the entrance was quickly closed back up. Anakin and Obi-Wan looked around, as they were now in a massive hideout hidden underground.
Yo!
It seemed like
Yo, it's the rebels, bro! Oh, that's so cool. That's epic.
hundreds of soldiers were in here, and they all moved out of the way as the leader of this rebel group came to the front.
Padme!
Anakin had to rub his eyes to make sure he was seeing this correctly. It was Padme. She ran up to Anakin, immediately giving him a huge hug, before separating, demanding to know where he's been. She thought he was dead. Obi-Wan helped calm her by saying they weren't really sure what was going on. They were stuck on a mysterious planet created by the Force, and when they left, time had moved years ahead. It made no sense to anyone, but Padme would bring the two of them to an area where they could be alone, and she began explaining everything that has happened. After their disappearance, the war continued on after a long search for them, and after a while, it looked like the Republic was truly going to win. Dooku was killed in the battle above Coruscant by Windu and Yoda, and then Grievous was destroyed not long after. And from what she has learned, apparently the Jedi went to arrest the Chancellor after Grievous died, but they were stopped, and after this, the Jedi were wiped out. Obi-Wan asked for clarification. What does she mean the Jedi were wiped out? And Padme said that all of the clone troopers suddenly turned on their Jedi leaders without warning. Across the galaxy, all of the Jedi were killed. The Jedi Temple was raided and destroyed, leaving no one alive as Palpatine turned the Republic into an empire. Galaxy has desperately missed the heroics of Anakin, Obi-Wan, and... She paused, then worriedly asked where Ahsoka was.
Yeah, where's Ahsoka, man?
Anakin said she was captured by the Empire. They need to get her back. Padme put a hand on his shoulder, saying they will be able to. In fact, the Jedi had perfect timing, as the rebellion just received important intel on where the Emperor is going, and they plan to launch an assassination plot. Anakin couldn't believe who Padme had become since he left, and for the first time, he began to notice how different she was. She was battle-hardened, wearing tactical gear with dual pistols on either side of her, along with explosives along her chest. She had scars and wounds on her face and hands, and it quickly became clear to Anakin
Anakin's gonna be
that
more of a
Padme
simp now.
did not stand for this empire at all. She'd been fighting, and it apparently had cost her home and her planet under heavy security. Anakin asked about her family, and Padme shook her head sadly, saying the Empire killed them trying to find her. And so Anakin and Obi-Wan knew they must fight back. They asked about this plot against Palpatine, and Padme would call someone else into the room. It was former Admiral Yularen, member of the budding rebel.
W in the chat! Let's go! Oh, the GOAT! The one and only Admiral Lauren.
Alliance. After Anakin disappeared, Palpatine took out a lot of anger on Anakin's Admiral in War, Yularen, for not knowing where Anakin went. This shattered their relationship, and when the Empire was created, Yularen was not given a place in it, so he decided to help take down the Emperor. He laid out what he knew from his spies in the ISB. Palpatine is personally going to Alderaan with his top agents in order to provide an example of what happens to rebel leaders like Bail Organa. Recently, the Empire discovered Alderaan funds going into creating ships for the rebels, and they intend to go to Alderaan and destroy them. So, the Naboo rebels of around 200 soldiers plan to meet Palpatine there, catching him off guard. Yularen and Padme both agreed that Ahsoka would be there, likely in a cell aboard Palpatine's Star Destroyer, as a way to hopefully lure the Jedi out of hiding. The two Jedi asked why now? Why haven't they gone at Palpatine before? Padme said they didn't have the Jedi with them to take him down. But now, they have Skywalker and Kenobi, heroes of the Clone Wars, and they would all spend a while longer getting accustomed to this new era with Anakin and Obi-Wan, but soon they would take off for Alderaan, landing in the mountains, preparing for the imminent arrival of the Empire. As they waited, Anakin and Padme would get a moment alone, where they discussed what life will be like if they can end this Empire today. Padme said she was not entirely sure. She felt she owes it to her family, and to the galaxy, to help restore the Republic even after the Emperor is gone.
Alright.
She would love to just run away and live happily with a family with Anakin, but she can't. Not yet. Anakin agreed, saying he will fight by her side for as long as it takes. The two of them did share a lovely moment together, and soon Palpatine's Star Destroyer emerged from hyperspace. 3 Imperial shuttles began descending down to the planet, and the rebel soldiers took aim, firing rocket launchers at them, blasting the engines, and the shuttles began to quickly descend to the ground. Obi-Wan and Anakin would share a final moment together, as Obi-Wan and a squad of rebels was taking a stolen Imperial shuttle up to the Star Destroyer. He promised Anakin to find Ahsoka and bring her back, and Anakin promised to take down the Emperor, no matter what it takes.
Alright.
And the two of them would go on their separate missions.
Although, man, is Anakin a match for the Emperor, bro? Like, I doubt it. Like, at this point, Anakin is from the second year of the Clone Wars. This is Palpatine, what, like, you know, a few years into the Empire? I don't know, man.
As Sidious and his men crashed into the mountains, he smiled to himself. He was hoping this would happen. He knew the rebels wouldn't attack him unless they had the necessary reinforcements, and today, he could decimate them. Anakin was here, and he would kill Anakin himself to show there is no chosen one. The Sith will rule forever. Long ago, he'd wanted Anakin on his side, but that time has long passed by. So he and his men, including a group of royal guards and commando troopers, walked through the forests, making their way to the city. When the rebels launched their surprise attack, they were behind the trees, hidden behind rocks, and there were more than the Empire anticipated. The rebel soldiers emerged, firing upon Sidious and his men, and Sidious quickly began firing lightning all around to discard of these rebels.
Oh shit.
He saw Padme Amidala firing her blasters at a group of Imperial soldiers, and Sidious targeted her specifically. But before the lightning hit her, it was blocked by a blue lightsaber.
Let's go!
Palpatine cackled as he called his red blade to his hand, telling the chosen one he should never have come back. Anakin moved in towards Palpatine, the man he once trusted, and he told him that his reign ends today. The two of them quickly clashed blades, moving through the forest as Imperials and Rebels fought all around them.
Oh shit, it's gonna be insane.
Inside the Star Destroyer above Alderaan, Obi-Wan flew a stolen shuttle, claiming to the Imperials inside that he needed immediate repairs. His chain code checked out, and he was allowed to land. And as he did, stormtroopers came to investigate, as Obi-Wan ran out of the shuttle, cutting them down as a group of elite rebel soldiers followed him through the halls.
Go.
The stormtroopers were no match for Obi-Wan,
Where's Rex?
as he moved through different areas, shutting blast doors behind him, cutting down anyone in his path as he reached the prison hallway. The rebel troops spread out as Obi-Wan ran to Ahsoka's cell, only to now be confronted by Kit Fisto, Sith apprentice.
Shite.
Fisto ignited a red blade, telling Obi-Wan he should not have come back. The galaxy is at peace. And Obi-Wan said that this empire is not peace. It is built on fear and oppression. And Fisto, clearly engulfed by darkness, said as long as it works, what does it matter?
Oh, man.
He ran at Obi-Wan as the two of them now battled through the halls. Obi-Wan wondered what could drive the great Jedi Master to fall so far. But it didn't matter right now. Right now, he had to defeat Fisto and save Ahsoka. Back on the grounds of Alderaan, Sidious cut through a tree, and Anakin barely dodged it as it fell to the ground. The crash allowed Sidious to spin through the air, kicking Anakin into a rock wall, and Anakin ducked barely in time as Sidious plunged his red blade into the rocks. Anakin spun around, cutting into the robes of Sidious, and he laughed, saying Anakin is powerful, but it is a shame that power must be wasted like this. He moved back in on Skywalker, stabbing forward, flipping around to try and find a weakness in the Jedi. But Anakin stood strong, using his power on the light side to try and make Sidious angry or unbalanced.
Chosen one.
The Sith Lord stabbed forward again, and Anakin was able to grab his wrists, elbowing him in the face before slicing around, barely missing Sidious's chest. Anakin was more powerful than ever, using the fall of the Jedi and the Republic as motivation here. There was no conflict, there was only balance, and the need to fulfill the prophecy as he moved back in on Sidious, creating a sudden flurry of moves that caught the Dark Lord off guard. Sidious spun in for a surprise attack, but Anakin dodged, plunging his own saber through the back of Palpatine now. The Sith Lord gasped, firing lightning into Anakin, sending him crashing to the ground, and Sidious fell to his knees, gasping for air. Anakin moved back in at Palpatine as he fired more lightning, but this time Anakin blocked it, spinning his saber around, decapitating the Sith Lord.
Yes!
And Anakin looked to the sky,
Let's
hoping
go!
everyone was having the same success. In the halls of the Destroyer, Fisto was ripping the walls apart, throwing all sorts of things at Obi-Wan to defeat him. Obi-Wan was hit by a metal pipe, but he dodged a console thrown at him, before lunging at Fisto, slicing into his leg. Fisto stumbled away, but this allowed Obi-Wan to use the Force to unlock Ahsoka's cell, without Fisto noticing. As Fisto recovered, Obi-Wan threw his saber at him, and Fisto dodged it, smiling as he moved in on Obi-Wan. But he didn't realize that Ahsoka was free, catching Kenobi's saber, and she sprinted at Fisto, cutting him across the back as he fell to the floor in a dying crash in front of Obi-Wan and Ahsoka. Fisto was able to look back up, asking the Jedi to just make sure that his home planet is protected, and he died on the floor. Fisto turned in order to protect his people, seeing it as the only way to avoid the Empire's wrath. And now he was gone. Ahsoka, Obi-Wan, and the remaining rebels on this destroyer regrouped, each of them taking an Imperial fighter to the ground, and they helped take down the final Imperial reinforcements on the ground. While Obi-Wan fought Fisto, the rebels rigged the destroyer with explosives, and together this group of rebels watched as the destroyer exploded, marking the beginning of the end of the Empire. When the Battle of Alderaan was over, the rebel cells around the galaxy would unite, coming together, no longer fearing the Empire. It lost the head of the snake, and without Palpatine, the galaxy could unite in knowing it would only take a year to restore order. In this year, the 3 Jedi would continue fighting off the Imperial remnants,
Not good.
but they would also search the galaxy for exiled Jedi, hoping to someday restore the
Please
Jedi
find
Order.
Cabbage Boy.
They would travel to various temples, eventually able to communicate with Master
Yoda, I
Yoda,
am.
who was very happy to see them alive. Yoda was retired
Nice!
as Grandmaster, but he would live his new life as a guide, helping any survivors find Anakin, Ahsoka, and Obi Wan as they made the new Jedi camp on Lothal. Surviving Jedi would take down the Empire, and after a while, Padme would step in as the new official ruler of the New Republic.
Let's go!
She was heavily respected now, not only as a political leader, but as a warrior. In the Battle of Alderaan, it was rumored that she fought 4 royal guards alone, and only she walked out alive.
Ain't no way.
She became a rebel legend, restoring this new republic all in due time. She and Anakin would still be together, but they would both have new great missions to the galaxy. So while they were together, it was not often they would see each other, and that was fine with them. Anakin, Obi-Wan, and Ahsoka were the inspiration for a new Jedi Order, as they were making up for lost time. And within years, the galaxy would be freed from the Empire, in the hands of the new Jedi and New Republic. And folks, that is where our story comes to an end today. Hope you guys enjoyed
That was an insanely magnificent, beautiful story ever. I love this what if. I love this what if, and those are my honest words. I really, really like this what if. Might be honestly one of my favorites, and I will give this a 10 out of 10. Magnificent story writing. I love the plot. I love the ending. I love everything about this what if. It all makes sense. Doesn't go off story anywhere, and everything fits as it should. And I do really like this what if. So 10 out of 10. Let me know if you agree with my rating and what you would rate this what if, and in the comment section down below of the video. Yeah, 10 out of 10.
So that's it for this video, guys. Hope you enjoyed. If you did enjoy, make sure to subscribe to the Star Wars Galaxy and check out his original video. Links in the description. Subscribe to me as well. We're trying to reach 1,000 subscribers by the end of 2024. Like the video if you enjoyed. Turn notifications on. And don't forget to follow my Twitter. That link will be down below in the description of this video. And I always mess up these outros. But hey, that's it for this video. Thank you so much for watching. This is William, and we'll force be with you. And I will see you next time.
Hey, you didn't watch it? Well, check out the video on the left side of the screen, which is specifically recommended for you, or check out the playlist on the right of the screen, which contains similar videos to this one, made by me, of course. Hey, remember, subscribe.